Hey guys, I'm back with another video today, and this will be an updated late game version of my Archer guide that so many people have been asking for. But before I get into that, I've got some exciting news to share with you all. So, I was actually selected as one of the official content creators for Legend of Mushroom, as you can see here. So because of this, I have access to some extra perks that I can share with you all. So first, every month I will have a gift code I can share with you guys starting in June. So make sure to subscribe to me and keep following my videos. It supports me a lot, and you might also get some freebies too. The second main point is that I will gain access to updates around 3 to 5 days in advance. So it means I can share with you guys all the content that the developers will be releasing before they make an announcement on the official Discord server. So if you follow me, you will have faster access to important information like this, so you can plan ahead. But enough of that, let's talk about what I will cover in this video. I will cover the best PvE, PvP, family raid, lava boss, and cross-server showdown setups for taking down light spawns. We will also talk about prayers, souls, back accessory, talents, and the most recent update with artifact enchantments, which is here. So, like always, I'll also talk about some benchmark numbers that you should be aiming for in every single stat. So, first of all, let's get into PvE. Skill wise, I'm still using the same setup as the video from 1 month ago. I've tested with Worldly Snare, 100 Slashes, Blade Pierce, whatever. I've used everything, all the combinations. This is still the best setup. With POWs, this is probably one of the best setups that you can use. Octopus is really nice. Banana is really nice. Hydro Spread is a must. Okay? And then for the last two, it's a little bit more optional. So if you have the Benny, it's really good because you can launch the boss into the air. You have a 30% chance of that. And if that does happen, you can potentially stop them from attacking you. And that means you take less damage. That's really nice. Also, having a deer is really nice as well. If you want more damage though, Hero Bird is one of the first POWs that you should be going to. Also, if you don't have Benny, then you could use something like Chicken Hood. Hero Bird and Chicken Hood together is really nice, but if you had to choose one, you should still choose Hero Bird first, because the attack speed increase is better than a basic attack damage increase, because with attack speed you get a higher chance of proccing your combos. So that'll mean a lot more damage than just a 30% increase from Chicken Hood. What are some alternatives that you can use? You can definitely use the turtle. If you have the turtle, definitely use it because it really helps with our setup, and I would use Benny here. So let's say this is my setup and this is my setup for skills. With relics, the most important one is Immunity Book. Okay, so how should we cast our skills manually against the boss? I've changed the skill order from last video so that this is a little bit more easier to cast, so you guys can copy it and follow my lead. The first thing to do is we have to notice that every boss walks towards you at a different speed. Some walk quite fast, some are quite slow. We have to pay attention to that, because if we cast our Dazzle too early, sometimes for a slower boss, it doesn't actually hit them. It just casts towards the middle of the screen, and then it makes it completely useless. So we have to make sure to time that Dazzle really nicely. Once Dazzle goes off, we want to use Smoke Bomb, Clone Strike, and our class skill all in succession. 1, 2, 3. Okay? And before Dazzle's ability runs out, we want to use Disarm and keep the boss stun locked so that it cannot attack us, right? Once Disarm completely wears off as well, then we start to rely on our 3 shields, our Blitz Assault, our Immunity Book that comes in at 70% HP, and then also our Turtle, where we get a shield at 50% HP. And the main goal here is we want to get 2 skill rotations off and to kill the boss in 2 skill rotations rather than just 1. Because with 1, you have to do so much more damage and you don't have a lot of defenses. So it's really hard to survive and put out that much damage in 1 skill rotation. With a Hydro Spike though, and all these shields, you can actually last quite a bit longer, and you can last until these 2 Disarm and Dazzle skills come off cooldown again. So let me just show you in practice what it looks like. Dazzle, 1, 2, 3, use Disarm, and then once Clone Strike dies here, then we use Blitz Assault, okay? And then we turn on Auto straight after. And as you can see, our Immunity Book and Turtle Shields went off, and as you can see here, the Dazzle and Disarm went off again, but the boss has already died by then because I'm a little bit too strong for the current boss. So that's how you would defeat a boss. Now, with relics, there are only 2 things that you should be looking at: crit rate or combo. It just depends on your overall stats, okay? So if I use the combo one instead, it'd be 43.96. I think that's too unbalanced. I think it's better to try and keep your crit rate quite high, around 50% or above. Ideally, I think the ratio should be 60% crit rate and 90% combo rate. I think that's like the sweet spot. Obviously, if you can go even higher, then do it. But honestly, that's pretty hard. But for now, yeah, 53 and 86 for me is working quite nicely. Okay, now for fossils, only 2 you should be choosing from: Thundercaller Kite or Dragon Weave Circuit, but I would choose Thundercaller Kite maybe 8 or 9 times out of 10. This only works sometimes because of its 20% chance, and this only works if you have a turtle. And the problem is we don't know exactly how much damage this will do until we get that kind of test dummy that the developers have talked about introducing into the game in the future, where we can see exactly where all the damage is coming from all the powers or skills or whatever. Until we get that, we don't really know for sure. And this Thundercaller Kite is just much safer. So I would just use the kite. Here for treasures, if you have an octopus, use Metamorphic Crystal. If you don't, use the magic box for the deer. And you know, if you don't have that as well, then as a last resort, you can equip the cactus and use Blessed Dew. Here you have 2 options. You can either go a more defensive setup like I've just showed, where you get 2 skill rotations off, or you try and kill it in 1 skill rotation and then you use Beasthide Book. Flame Book is good in PvE mob stages, but during the actual boss stages I would choose either Beasthide or Immunity. These last 2 we don't even touch. For statues, we choose Time Statue. This is by far the best for our current situation because we can increase Disarm and Dazzle by 50%. Alternatives, probably none. I would say this is a must-have. And then for necklaces, this is also a must-have. We want to increase the damage on Clone Strike. Clone Strike is by far the best skill in the game. It makes such a big difference if you have it versus if you don't have it. So Skill Rush is coming next week. If you don't have Clone Strike, you have to try and get it next week. If you're saving up gems, I would spend it all on skills to try and get this skill. Okay, if you do get that, it's gonna boost your account so much faster and you're gonna get so much stronger. It's kind of unfair how strong Clone Strike is compared to the rest of the skills. But yeah, let's say, what if you didn't have some of these pink powers? What can you use instead? Okay, let's say I did not have octopus, then we go for the next best thing, hero bird. Let's say you don't have a banana, you can use chicken hood. You don't have this turtle, obviously. You use its defensive equivalent, deer, and then you don't have bunny. Okay, what would you use here? What would you use here? You would use cactus. Cactus is the last resort for pals, because hero bird and chicken hood is always better than cactus, because it's every 3 basic attacks deal extra 40% damage. So while it's decent, there are so many other pals that do better than cactus. But if you do have some of these pink pals, or the banana or Benny, then definitely use them. They are much better. I think the pals that you should only be looking out for is eggplant, Benny, Hydro Sprite only in PvE situations, so not in PvP. Cactus is okay as a last resort. Chicken hood, hero bird, deer, banana, treasure dragon, turtle, and finally octopus. Okay, let me show you a more offensive setup that you could potentially run. So we want to try and increase Clone Strike's damage, so we can use Wild Gust here instead. And then for our pals, we want ultra damage, so we can use hero bird, Benny, and we can also use treasure dragon. Let's just see how this will go. I haven't tested it yet myself, but we will see. With this one, because we are not running Dazzle, the timing is slightly different. So we would use Disarm first, and then both Wild Gust and Smoke Bomb, and then Clone Strike, and then Class Skill. Once Disarm wears off, we use Blitz Assault. So let's see how it goes. Disarm, everything else, and Blitz Assault once the Clone Strikes die. Okay, I got really lucky because I have Eye of Raven, and this means that I have a chance of casting an extra skill every now and then. I just got lucky from that because I got 2 Clone Strikes off, and as you can see, I've melted the boss. So this works really well with the Eye of Raven going a full offensive setup. But obviously the safer option is to go slightly more defensive and try to do it in 2 skill rotations. For prayers, this has been a big debate on what is the best prayers that we can run. Is it 3 combo, 1 crit, 1 attack? Or is it 3 combo, 2 attack, or 2 crit? Is it 4 combo, 1 crit, 1 attack? Or is it 5 combo, you know? It really depends on the count. But I think the best, most consistent prayers is 4 combo and either crit or attack. 5 combo actually sometimes yields more damage, but it really depends on your other stats like your crit rate, your combo, your crit damage, and your combo multiplier. Like if you can kind of pull it off with 5 combo, then definitely do it. I think in my current situation I could pull off a 5 combo, but I have a triple S crit damage, so I don't really want to get rid of that. So I'm just going to keep it as it is. As you can see, I only have S for one of my combos. This used to be a triple S attack. I re-rolled it, and actually this S is serving me better than that triple S attack. So 4 combo for me works a lot better than having 3 combo, 1 attack, 1 crit. And I know that, you know, I will do even more damage if I re-roll that S combo into a double S or a triple S. So yeah, I think that about covers PvE. Let's talk about PvP. So, only difference is we do not run Dazzle because it overlaps with Disarm. So there's no point in running both Dazzle and Disarm. So instead, we can use Worldly Snare. Worldly Snare is a lot stronger in PvP than in PvE. Why? Because in PvP, the players actually stand still. Somehow, when I use this in a PvE situation, It's casts right at the point where the boss appears, but the boss is still walking ahead. So I feel like you kind of miss the skill. I don't know if it still goes off and then you actually get the benefits and then you get the damage, but animation wise, you kind of miss it. So yeah, I don't know enough about that. Maybe someone can tell me in the comments. But anyways, if you don't have Worldly Snare, I think Wild Gust is amazing. Why? Because Wild Gust along with Smoke Bomb can boost the damage of Clone Strike even more. And Clone Strike is the key skill again for every single mode. So we want to try and improve its damage as much as we can. So Wild Gust is really an amazing skill to help increase Clone Strike's damage. If you if you don't have it, or maybe let's say you don't have Blitz Assault, then you can use something like Speed Surge or Worldly Snare or something like this. Blitz Assault is actually kind of essential in PvP because at the start it's auto mode, so everyone casts all their skills immediately, right? And if you have Blitz Assault, you kind of negate all that initial damage from all their skills. If you don't have it, you take a lot of damage. Sometimes you even get one shot just from the skills. So Blitz Assault with Clone Strike is probably one of the two most important skills in the game, I would say. So this I think would be one of the most optimal setups to have in PvP. Then for pals, what would I run? I would not use Hydro Sprite because PvP fights do not last long enough for Hydro Sprite to become effective. So we could use a setup like this where we want to try and increase our damage resistance. Bunny is amazing because we can launch the player as well. Okay, some people think that you can only launch like bosses or mobs or just monsters in general, but actually we can launch players as well. So this really helps. If you have it, use it. If you don't, it's alright. I'll show you what else you can use. We can use Hero Bird, or let's say you don't have Treasure Dragon, we can use Turtle here. And yeah, it's really kind of the similar setup that we had for PvE. It's just instead we don't want Hydro Sprite, so we want to replace it with something else. So something like this would work really well. And also, people have been asking, is the Wealthy Lizard good? I'm gonna say no, until we get like that test dummy to see where all the damage is coming from, how much damage each power is doing, and like the specific numbers of every power. I think I'm gonna say no, because when I use it, I really feel like there's a damage loss compared to not using it. So I think this is not the best power for right now. Maybe through further testing in the future, we might find like a sleeper build that utilizes power damage and then it just goes crazy. But for now, that's not it. So yeah, if you don't have obviously the turtle, you can use Chicken Hood, or if you don't have these, you can replace as well with any of these above, like Benny, you can use here, Cactus, you can use here, and yeah, that's about it really. So that's kind of the same couple of powers that we want to focus on that is good for archers. Now, relics, exact same as PvE setup, only difference is Flamebook, okay? Because that's one of the only useful ones for PvP scenarios. And here I have the same prayer statues and the same kind of artifacts, back accessory. The only thing is I want to use Blue Ox, so you can use it if you have it, because I want to shorten the duration of disarm by 30%. And that means I can start attacking earlier, and I can hopefully kill them before they even start attacking me. So if you don't have that, stick with Pyre Breaker. It's amazing. So yeah, that's PvP. That's quite simple. And please, I still see so many people not using presets, or they just use one setup for the entire game. I don't think that is optimal. So at the very least, have a PvE and PvP setup. And you can set your arena, cross-server ranked match, mana battles. This is from Prayer Statue, where if people are stealing your crops and you want to fight them and defend them, this is what they call mana battle. So you can use your PvP setup here as well. And yeah, that's PvP. Now let's talk about family raids. There are two different ways that you can go about it. If you're really strong in a similar situation like me, you can run this more defensive setup and then try to live through the entire 10 minutes so you can do as much damage as you can. Or if you're slightly weaker and you're dying quite early, you just run the most offensive build that you can do. So do as much damage as you can before you die, right? So for skills, this is what I use. I use Smoke Bomb to increase Clone Strike's damage, Blitz Assault, and Shroom Shield for the double shield, and then Nature's Renewal to keep constantly healing. For powers, Octopus, Banana, it's a must. Hydro Sprite to try and get my skills back faster so I can cast them off again. This is really nice in long extended battles, so it works really well for family raids. I have Treasure Dragon as well because crit damage is so nice to have, and by having Treasure Dragon I do a lot more damage. And then I have the Deer to try and reduce the damage that I take from Big Grumpy. If you don't have Treasure Dragon, you could use Hero Bird here. Something like this would work quite nicely. And then the other alternatives I've already talked about in the PvE and PvP situations. For relics, the book. This is one of the must-have books if you want to try and survive. In boss levels, restore 10% of lost HP every 5 seconds. This is huge. So if you have enough survivability, you should definitely try and use this method, and you will see yourself dealing a lot more damage and surviving all the way to the end. If you're slightly weaker, maybe in the 20 millions or whatever, depending on the difficulty of Big Grumpy, maybe you're just dying within the first 30 seconds, try and go for a more offensive setup. What could you run? Let me show you. You could use Blade Pierce, you could use Worldly Snare, something like this can work. Let's say you don't have Worldly Snare, you can use Wild Gust instead. Try and boost the damage of Clone Strike. You can use Speed Surge if you don't have Blade Pierce, something like this can also work. And for powers, yeah, powers is the same. I've already mentioned that. And then here you can use Beasthide Book actually, or if you're getting one shot and you just want to survive like 5 seconds longer, you can use Immunity Book. Everything else stays the same, and yeah, that's it. Mounts, Pyre Breaker is probably the best. You could use Blue Ox as well. This is Horizon Race is not so good. Tiger can work. Hot Wheels doesn't really do much. The Cloud doesn't really help archers, so not many options to choose from here. I think stick with Pyre Breaker. It is one of the best mounts for archers in the game after all. I think that's it for family raids. Nice and short, really easy, and we'll move on. Now let's talk about Lava Boss or Blazing Cave. What is the best setup? As you can see, I did 65,707 billion damage. It's pretty good. Bruno here, still 30,000 above me. He's insane. But it is what it is. But yeah, let me show you what I'm running, what you can potentially run as well. With Lava, you want to survive for the full time, but also deal as much damage as you can. So try and find the sweet spot where you don't die, but still outputting your maximum damage. So for mounts, I would definitely use Pyre Breaker. If you have Eye of Raven, it'd be amazing, because if you get that double Clone Strike off, holy moly, you will do a lot of damage. And then with this relic, It really depends on your situation if immunity book is better or beast hide book. So we will see. We'll just have to try. I'll give you a tip later as well. But yeah, let me see. Hydro Sprite is really important as well. We want to get 2 skill rotations off again. Benny is really nice here actually because it stops him from attacking us quite a few times. And Banana Octopus is always mandatory. I'm gonna try actually using Treasure Dragon instead of Hero Bird here. And then with our skills, Disarm does work on the boss, so we definitely want to use that. Clone Strike is still a main damage dealer. We can use Worldly Snare. A potential alternative is using Wildcast here. So we'll experiment a little bit right now and see what works for us. So quite an offensive setup with a Beast Hide book. Let's see how we do. Okay. Doing pretty well. Normally, yeah, I get to around 95. Okay, I'm dying quite fast. Okay. As you can see, what I just did there, I pressed leave for now. You can actually leave this challenge before you die. And then it won't take up one of your attempts. So for me, actually, Beast Hide is not working. So I'm gonna use Immunity Book instead, because I really want to try and survive long enough to get 2 skill rotations off. And also, what you can do if you're trying to aim for a PB and you have that Eye of Raven, you can keep leaving at the start and challenging again until you get a run where you get 2 clone strikes in a row. So I don't have it here. Let me try again. Here we go. Now we've got 2 clone strikes, and you will see the damage here is a lot higher than what I was doing before. I'm already at 96 and my clone strike just died. And my disarm is about to go off again after my immunity book helped me block some damage. Blitz Assault now goes off, meaning I have time for clone strike to go off again and do more damage. And there we go. That's a new PB, 66,000 billion. So this really works, and I hope that it can also help you guys do a little bit more damage for the lava boss. As always, with alternatives, just use the same alternatives that I've talked about in the other PvE, PvP setups. And our final preset is for the cross server showdown if we want to fight the light spawns. What is possibly the best setup that we can use to try and take it as fast as we can? With the light spawn towers, the bosses don't actually attack you at all, right? They attack you a little bit, they just do 1 damage. So this means you can go full offensive. So we don't need Blitz Assault. So we can replace that with something else. Worldly Snare works really well. And why do I keep going back to this Worldly Snare? It's because for every 1% crit rate, gain an additional 3% crit damage. Okay, so I have 53% crit rate. By using Worldly Snare, I gain an extra 10%, so 63% crit rate, and then I get 3% crit damage on every 1%. So times 63 by 3, and you get around, over 180% extra in crit damage. That's a nice chunk. Then, as always, Clone Strike is the #1 skill. We want to boost this damage. Okay, we do it with Smoke Bomb and Wildcast. And then the final skill, we just want to do as much damage as we can. I think in this situation, Speed Surge will allow us to do the most damage possible. For powers, it's the same, but we just run Ultra Offensive. Actually, we don't even really need Benny because it's not going to attack us, right? So we can just use something else that will allow us to do even more damage. You can use Chicken Hood here. If you have it, you can even use the Eggplant, increase your crit even more. So now it's 58. And that means I get even more crit damage. once I use Worldly Snare, this will probably go up to around like 2.3k crit damage or something like that. It'd be pretty crazy, to be honest. Might be even higher, 2.5, who knows. But I think, oh, actually, Hydrospite would be really nice, because how long is it? It's a 1 minute battle, it's a 1 minute fight every time, and there's you can get your skills off just that little bit more, and that Hydrospite might help you get your maybe like 1 extra cast of your Clone Strike off, which means a lot more damage. With relics, what I would use is Beasthide Book. Okay, we don't need the Minu Book, we're not gonna get low. And then for statues, there's 2 potential options you can go. You can either use Time Statue still and extend the duration of Smoke Bomb by 50%, or you can use Stellar Statue to try and boost your Worldly Snare by 50%. That's up to you. You just have to test it out and see what does more damage for you. I personally haven't tested it out yet because I've been Warrior for the past week, and I've been kind of testing the different skill combinations for that. So I haven't gotten around to finding out if Time Statue or Stellar Statue is better in this situation. So if anyone does know in the comments, please let me know, and I'll be happy to try it out myself. Mounts again, always run Pyre Breaker. This will help with the most offensive mount. Eye of Raven, again, just absolutely amazing. It's broken, to be honest. And yeah, I think this is one of the most offensive setups that you can run, and you will do the most damage against the light spawns. Obviously, if other players from their server are trying to defend and try to fight you, then you are in slightly worse shape, because you don't have Blitz Assault, you don't have Disarm, you're just full offensive, so they might kill you a lot easier. Just keep that in mind. However, if you go in at a really nice time when no one's kind of active, no one's online, maybe after lunchtime or something, like 1 or 2 p.m, everyone's just kind of chilling, doing real life stuff, it could be a good time to go in. And you can get the maximum amount of damage and also the maximum amount of points. As you can see, I got 139,600 points, and I did that as Warrior. So I am sure that with this setup as Archer, and I play Cross-Server Showdown again this weekend, I might get a score that's even higher than that. And yeah, I think that's it for the presets. So we've talked about PvE, PvP, Family Raid, the Lava Boss, and the Cross-Server Showdown. What do we talk about next? Let's talk about some souls, okay? So with souls, what do we want to focus on? Combo and crit damage are one of the most important ones to focus on. And then after that, attack is really good. And then also basic attack damage is really good. My soul setup is a bit out of whack because I have been playing Warrior and I keep constantly changing my soul levels. And you can do that just by pressing reset here, and you can reset the soul back to level 1 for 500 diamonds. Those are the few souls that I would focus on trying to get to red first. Combo first, then crit damage, then attack, and then basic attack. Okay, in that order. Alright. For getting pink souls, it's a slightly different order. I would say global attack, because normally you get attack, but once you upgrade it to pink, this becomes global attack. And I think this is one of the most universal souls that you can use. So if you do end up swapping to Warrior, then it still works just as well for you. I would probably suggest to focus on the base stats first for pink, so attack, and then global HP, and then here it would become global defense as well for the pink soul. However, if you think that you're really going to stick to archers for a while, then you can go for a pink combo. Combo is really good. Why? Because its counterpart is boss damage. So that's like having a built-in Beast Hide book permanently. That's really nice to have. You're gonna do a lot more damage against all the bosses in PvE, in your cross server, the light spawns, in your family raids, whatever. You're just gonna be in a world of joy. So that is definitely a really nice possibility to go. And then yeah, I think that's about it for souls. I would say don't really focus on crit res as an archer. Counter, obviously just leave that. It's not important for archers. If you were a warrior, you would replace this combo level with the counter. And you can level the others quite equally. Normally you would level the basic attack damage a little bit higher than this, probably around 15 or 20 as well. I've just, I'm still kind of changing stuff around and still experimenting, so I haven't got around to it. I've been a bit busy, but yeah, that's it for souls. Next, we talk about back accessories with the feathers. So try and increase your feathers level, each one, to the next 10. So what do I mean by that? Right now, at 51, I'm trying to get this attack to level 60. And after I do that, then I will get the HP one to level 60, and then the defensive one to level 60. Why? Because every 10 levels, this overall stat increase will go up by a huge amount. I don't know, I can't remember how much it is. I think it's like almost more than double, but it works the same way as mounts with going into the next tier. As you can see, I'm in tier 7.3 and I have 52,930%. Tier 6, I think was closer to like 25,000 or something like that. So it's a really big jump. So with feathers, if you level it every 10 and then you do that in order, then it'll be really nice. It'll be really efficient for you. With talents, like I said in one of my most recent videos, try and level the base, attack, defense, and HP in each tree, in each tab. Okay? I would say probably to max them out first. So to get all of those to 20 out of 20. So you would have 3 20 out of 20 attacks, 3 20 out of 20 defense, and then 3 HPs. After you've done that, that might take, maybe even a month. After you've done that, then I would focus on the archery tree and then trying to get your combo damage to as high as you can get it. So I get this to around 10 or whatever, and then the ultimate goal is to try and get into here, Gale Barrage. Every 2 seconds, combo damage increases by an extra 5% up to 50%. So we just want to try and maximize our combo damage. So for talents, stick to the base big bubbles, attack, HP, defense. Once you max everything out, I would say start maxing combo and then try and reach Gale Barrage as well. And yeah, that's it for back accessories. With the morphs, this lustrous plumage is pretty good as well. If you want to be a archer specialist, and obviously if this comes out, Emerald Embrace, you can definitely use this as well. But this is also good enough as well. Okay, and then what do we have next? We have the new recent update of artifact enchantments. Let's talk about what to focus on. We can filter by types. Right now we have 3. I don't know if there will be more in the future. We'll just have to find out. But obviously, as an archer, you want to equip a 4-piece set of your Furious Gale, and then that way you get an extra 15% in global combo damage. Specifically, in the top right northeast rune, or whatever it's called, you can get things like combo damage or counter damage. As you can see here, I have 60% counter damage, and I was really lucky enough to get a pink rune that had combo damage. I leveled it to 4. And now I have an extra 120% combo damage just from this single rune. Holy moly, that is crazy. You can also get airborne, right? And that's the effect that Benny gives, where you launch the enemy into the air. So you can actually get that through the rune substats as well. So if you do get that, you know, that's really a huge bonus. Obviously the percentage of that happening is really, really low, but you know, it's still better than not having it at all, right? And some other things that you want to kind of look for: global basic attack damage is really nice, and also global combo damage. So if you can try and get those, definitely go for that. So I would try and find 4 pieces of global combo damage that tries to kind of increase your combo damage. So here, as you can see, I had global combo damage here. Here I have global basic attack damage, global combo. Here, actually I have crit damage, and that's another one that really helps in doing a lot more damage. Here I have boss damage. You know, that could be a really good alternative as well. Crit res, not helpful. Skill damage, no. Yeah, so boss damage can help. Crit damage is really nice as well, because who doesn't want to do more damage with every crit, right? And then I have global combo damage here. So how much combo damage am I getting? 120, and then an extra 14.67% in global combo damage. Global basic attack, I have an extra 10%, and yeah, I think this is really nice for any archer. Obviously, you have to just wait it out. Right now, the max level for Flame, what do they call it? Flame Temple is level 20. You have like, I think it's like a 2% chance of getting a pink soul. Sorry, not a pink soul, a pink rune. So I got a bit lucky here with getting this one, especially for combo damage, and it's the correct set, right? I should just lock that in case I accidentally sell it. But with runes as well, you can press enhance and you can level it up. Obviously, you know, it takes a lot more, but as you can see, 1 level gives you an extra 30% increase in the combo damage, and this will also randomly enhance 1 main affix, so it could be any of these. Right now I don't want to do that because I don't have enough runes. I want to keep some of them, see where it goes, where it takes me. But yeah, if you can aim for a 4-piece set of global combo damage, hopefully with some substats giving you combo or crit damage or airborne or basic attack damage, I think that's going to be the most ideal set to run for archers. And now finally, let's look at our attributes and let's talk about some benchmark stats that we should be trying to aim for. For ideal crit rate combo, in my opinion, is around 60% crit rate and 90% combo. If you can get higher, please do. Obviously, you're just gonna do more damage, but that's like a nice benchmark to aim for. If you can't do 60-90, go a bit lower, like me. Go for 50-80, right? And if you can't do that, go for 40-70, something like that. It's that 30% difference in crit rate and combo. I think that's like a nice spot to have a nice balance between the both of them. And then how can we increase our crit rate and combo? Well, it's really mostly just from getting lucky with our gear. So we want to try and roll crit rate and combo as much as we can. And if we don't get it, what are the other stats that we should look for? Evasion is really good, and then also stun. Those are the only other 2 that you should be happy about. Other ones you should just completely replace. So like for this, crit rate and skill rate is not ideal, right? I'm still trying to search for better gear that has a useful substat roll on every single piece, and that's gonna take a lot of time, probably 500,000 lamps or something, to try and get the perfect set. So it's gonna be a really long haul, a long run, and you're just gonna have to be patient with it. With crit damage, I haven't seen many people at 2000%, but it's really nice to have. You will notice you'll like burst them down very fast. So obviously I know most people won't be in a situation like me. So what I would suggest is first to aim for at least above 1000% crit damage, and then once you achieve that, try and aim for 1500%. Okay, the main biggest stats where that will come from is through your soul. And then what else? We can actually find out if we just press compare and we just scroll down and we press the info button next to all these stats. You can see where all this where we get our final numbers from. So the partner 50%, that's from Treasure Dragon. Really nice. You can get a roll off the statue. Remember, I have 4 combo, 1 crit. That 1 crit is helping me. And then also enchant. Yeah. And enchant is this new rune that I got with an extra 72% crit damage bonus. And with that, I achieved 2000% crit damage. So those are some ideas on how you can increase your crit damage. Basic attack multiplier, similar. Try to aim for at least 1000% first, and then 1500 afterwards. Combo multiplier is one of the really most important things. I think at this stage of the game, people should try to aim for around 7000%, or maybe 5000 to 7000%. And then for the people who are further ahead, a bit more stronger, you should try to aim for 10,000% in your combo multiplier. And I think those are the only kind of stats that are really crucial to try and pay attention to. Obviously we want to increase our final HP, attack and defense as much as we can, but this really varies on each person's individual account, and it's hard to give advice on that because you just pretty much gain that from every single aspect of the game. So partners, skills, tech, relics, your mount level, your artifact level, even parking, the amount of decorations that you unlock, your back accessories, those are your feathers, and then even just having mounts or artifacts unlocked. The soul, this is the pink soul that I have, which gives me an extra 57% in global attack. I have a seal and costume. Well, I haven't talked about seals yet, true. So we have 6 seals to awaken the final class, and one of the seals gives us global attack. So I'm really close to unlocking the final class. I'm only 1 away, so that's probably going to be in 1 week's time. I'm going to be able to unlock the final class, and then I'm going to try and do a lot of testing with the Arrow God for archers, and then I will also swap classes to warrior, to the axe, and then do a lot of testing as warbringer. And I'll see if warbringer can actually be somewhat useful in a PvE situation as well, because right now they're completely useless, and archers are the only ones that are useful if you want to have any sort of progress in your PvE stages. So yeah, I think that's about it, guys. Let me know if I've forgotten anything, then I'll just make probably another short video about it. I'm sorry that it's such a long video. This is hard to kind of talk about every single aspect of the game. There's just so many different things that you can talk about, and to get like a nice decent understanding of everything or alternatives that you can use if you don't own a certain skill or power, yeah, it just takes a while to explain all of that. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed my content. Like I said, it really helps me if you keep watching my videos, subscribe, and you like my videos as well. It gives me an incentive to keep creating this content for you guys, to keep trying and to help everyone. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed this video. I really hope this will help improve your accounts even just a little bit. I've been helping all my family members with finding the optimal PvE PvP setups. I've probably done close to half of our family, so around 40 people, and every single person has said that it's helped them a lot. Suddenly they're winning their PvP matches that they couldn't win before. Suddenly they're breezing through the PvE stages. Suddenly they're doing triple the damage in family raids, whatever. Right? So I have tried to share all of my knowledge, and hopefully that'll help you guys as well. So please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.